Hey guys, this is the God of Politics. I'm going to be a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But in today's video, I'm going to be doing quite an interesting topic, and that is my prediction for what counties will flip in 2024. Now, up here I have the 2020 county map. As you can see here, the numbers may not exactly be correct because the Alaska on Yapames, the way that it has the boundaries for this is different to what it has on the New York Times and on Wikipedia, but I have just guessed on what it would be like based on the boundaries that they do have. But overall, this is the county map that we're looking at. Biden won 556 counties, Donald Trump won 2,586 counties. But Biden won the election, and he won the election with 306 electoral votes. Using 2024's electoral vote numbers, Biden would have won 302 electoral votes. Donald Trump would have won 236. But out of these counties, which ones would have flipped? Now, I can't go to every single county in every 50 state and analyze each one and determine whether they're going to flip. But I'm going to go through, each one of these counties, or a certain number of counties in each one of these states, and see, which counties do I think will flip. So we can start out in the Northeast up here, and there's a number of metrics that I'm going to be using to determine whether a county will stay or flip. Of course, I'll use the partisanship of that county, what that county went by to either Donald Trump or Joe Biden. I'm also going to be using educational attainment, which I'm using from the Census Bureau here, the numbers that it does have by county. If we zoom in, for example, on Virginia and Maryland, we can see here it has the numbers of educational attainment by county. And I'm also going to be using the population growth. Population growth also has an impact on a lot of these swings. And then the final thing I'm going to be using is income. And income is also a pretty indicative measure. So, there's many things that go along with this. Generally, areas that are poor, areas that are whiter, areas that are less have less educational attainment, those areas are generally going to be more Republican. Areas that are poor and more minority areas are generally going to be more Democratic areas. Areas that are richer, more suburban with higher educational attainment, those areas are Democratic, or at least more Democratic, and shifting towards the Democrats. So there's a number of factors at play here, and I'm just going to be going through a number of these counties and seeing what I do think is going to happen. So we can look up in the Northeast, as I said here first, and we can look at some of these northeastern counties. Now we can see here in the state of Maine, most of the counties, pretty much all of the counties, swung towards Joe Biden. And one of these counties that almost was won by Joe Biden was Muskegon County. Now, I may not be pronouncing that correctly, but it did swing 6.6% towards Joe Biden. Now, if we look at the educational attainment for that county, we can see here that for Muskegon County, it is 22.8 percentage points, which is not that high. It's lower than a lot of these coastal counties here, which of course are much more Democratic, but it's not as low as some of these more Republican counties, Somerset County, Piscataquis County, Penobscot County. I may be, again, pronouncing those incorrectly, but, you get the point. We can see here, based on population growth, that county is losing population, which generally is not a good thing for the Democratic Party. And we can also see here in terms of income that if we look in the area of that county, this is quite a big map. It often does get laggy. We can see that generally this area is more working class. Lewiston, which is in the area, is quite a poor area, as we can see here. If we also switch to county, we can see here that the county has 107,000 people. The income is 51,000 as of here, so it's generally quite a little bit in the middle. This is a county that was won by Barack Obama both times, I believe, and I do believe that in 2024, when you're also factoring in the incumbency, the fact that the economy is going to be good, I do think that this is a county that may flip towards Joe Biden. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that any of these other northeastern counties may flip. You could make an argument that if Joe Biden or any other Democratic candidate would do worse in New Hampshire, maybe they lose a county like Carroll County, because, for example, if we look at Carroll County, for example, we add New Hampshire to this list. Overall, 37% of people in the state of New Hampshire have a bachelor's degree or higher. But we zoom into the state of New Hampshire, and this is part of the reason why I don't think it'll flip. 34.3 percentage points of people in Carroll County have a college degree. It is a county that is gaining in population, and it is generally a county that is on the wealthier side with a average income of 61,000 people. I'm not sure if you can actually see that because of my face cam, but it does have an average income of 61,000 people. So I don't think that county will flip, but again, we will see what happens. As for New York, I think that a county that may flip in New York is Suffolk County. Suffolk County is a county that was won by Barack Obama in 2012, but the main reason for that is, at least in my view, because of the hurricane response that Barack Obama had, which was right before the 2012 election, which did help him in the state of New York. He did much better than he did in 2012, even though the electorate was 3 points less Democrat overall. So we're looking at Suffolk County. This is actually the largest county in the nation that was won by President Trump. So if we just remove New Hampshire, for example, and then we add New York to this list, and we zoom into Suffolk County, it is quite an educated county when you compare to many other counties that are generally considered quite educated. Suffolk County is one of them. It has 36.3% of people having a college degree. We look at the population growth. It is losing population, but the main areas that are losing population are amongst, some of these more working class areas, people that are leaving the county, many of which are moving outside of the state overall. But we look at the income, and the income is very, very, it's quite a rich county, being at 97,000 average income. I believe this is actually the median household income, but overall quite a rich county, as we can see here. And so I do think that it will be won by a Democratic candidate in 2024. It swung very big towards Joe Biden this election, 6.8 percentage points. None of the areas in downstate New York swung towards Joe Biden except for Suffolk County and Westchester County, if you consider that downstate. So I do think that Suffolk County is a county that will flip towards Joe Biden. Now, looking at some of these other areas in the Northeast, you could make an argument that some counties in states like New Jersey, for example, could flip towards the Democrats. There actually were some county flips towards Joe Biden in the 2020 election. One of those was Morris County. Morris County had not been blue since 1964, so it was quite a big achievement for the Democrats to have won that county. And I do think that it will stay towards the Democrats because of its educational attainment, which is quite high, and that's what's driving that growth and the swing towards the Democratic Party. That's basically the reason why the suburbs are trending towards the Democrats, because of college-educated white voters. And as you can see here, Morris County, very, very high. 54.1% of people have a bachelor's degree or higher, and it's very, high numbers in these other counties too. Sussex County, Warren County, which are Republican counties, though they did swing towards the Democratic Party. Now, one of these counties is Hunterdon County. Now, Hunterdon County has numbers that are similar to Morris County, and it's only a Biden or a Trump plus 4.4 percentage point county. So I do believe that maybe this is a county that could flip in 2024. It's also a very, very rich county with an average income of $112,000, which is double the median household income for the country as a whole. And we look at the population growth, it is slightly losing population, which makes me hesitant to say that this county will flip. But overall, I am going to say that as of now, maybe it'll flip, maybe he'll get less than 50% of the vote, but I do think that it will flip. Now, going on to Pennsylvania here. Now, Pennsylvania is quite a difficult one to determine. Now, you can see here there are a number of counties that were quite close in the 2020 election, and one of those counties was Northampton County. It was won by Joe Biden by 0.7 percentage points. This was actually a flip county from 2016. I do believe that there's a real possibility that this county does flip back, because if we go over to Northampton County here, yes, it's 30.3% educated, but it also does have a lot of working class areas, and while it's slightly gaining in population, we can also see here that it's 67,000 around average. So watch out for that county to flip. I'm not going to say it's going to flip as of now, but I do believe that it is certainly a possibility. Now, the next state I'm going to go down over here to is the state of Maryland, and I know this may end up being quite a long video, but I do think that this is an interesting topic. And you can see here in Maryland, the Maryland-Virginia area really has a lot of college-educated voters, and that's why Democrats do so well in Virginia nowadays and the state of Maryland. So there's a number of counties in Maryland that could flip, and while maybe a county like Calvert County does flip, I wouldn't necessarily count on it, because it's probably around average in terms of educational attainment. If we look at the income, well above average, similar to Suffolk County. In terms of population growth, it is gaining in population, so that's a county that could flip, but I wouldn't necessarily predict it as of now. But a county that I do think will flip towards the Democratic Party is Monongalia County in West Virginia. This is where the University of West Virginia is. Democrats did have a big swing towards them in this election, and they almost won the county. And so I do think that in 2024, this is a county that they probably will win. Now, the next county that I do believe could flip towards the Republican Party is Muskegon County. This is a county that Biden very, very narrowly won in the 2020 election. He won this county by 0.6 percentage points, but actually did swing slightly towards the right, swinging to the right by 0.9 percentage points, meaning that it swung 3 points to the right relative to the national environment. And we look at the educational attainment for this county, and if it does load here, we can see that the educational attainment for Muskegon County is only 19.7%, which is generally not very high. It's a county that is gaining in population, as is much of western Michigan, compared to many areas like Detroit, which is losing population. But we also look at the income here. We can see that while it is, again, above average around, or actually, which county? Muskegon County. Actually, it's below average. So we can see here it's actually at 48,000. So it's a less educated county. It's a more working class county, and it is quite a white county as well. It is 77% white. So I do believe that this is a county that will flip towards Donald Trump, or not Donald Trump, maybe Donald Trump in 2024, maybe Ron DeSantis, maybe another candidate. But I do believe that that is a county that will flip towards the Republican Party in 2024. Now, looking at Ohio here, there's a number of counties that I do believe Republicans are certainly going to improve in, but are any of them really going to flip? Because none of these counties were that close, to be honest. I mean, you look at a 10-point margin in Summit County, a 17-point margin in Lucas County, a 15-point margin in Athens County. So none of these counties are really close. And while I do think Republicans will make gains in areas like Mahoning County, Trumbull County, Portage County, Stark County, I do think they're going to make gains in those. Those wouldn't necessarily be flips. And so that's why I wouldn't necessarily say that there's going to be any flips in the state of Ohio in 2024. Iowa could possibly have some flips. Actually, let's put Milwaukee County back at likely Democrat over here. Iowa is an area that could have some flips to the Republican Party. I think you may see possibly Blackhawk County flip, maybe. I'm not necessarily sure how Republicans will do in that area. Maybe Scott County, if Republicans did really, really well, they could flip that county. Certainly a possibility. But other than that, I wouldn't necessarily say there's going to be any flips. A county that I do think will flip is Cass County. Cass County is a county that swung 7.5 points towards the Democratic Party in the 2020 election, and it is, a metro area. Fargo is a metro area in Minnesota, the county next to it, which is, as you can see here, Clay County is a blue county, but on the other side of the border, Cass County, it is a red county. Now, if we look at the educational demographics of the state of North Carolina, overall it's only 30% of people have a college degree. And as we can see here, much of North Dakota is losing population. The western area of North Dakota is gaining in population a lot, and you can also see that Cass County, North Dakota, is gaining a lot in population, quite in contrast to the rest of the eastern area of North Dakota. And so we look at North Dakota, Cass County, we can see here that 40% of people have a college degree, have a bachelor's degree or higher. And we go over into the income aspect of it, and we can see that it's quite above average, 62,000. That is generally a high number. It's certainly above average. And so I do think that it is a county that could flip towards the Democrats in 2022. Another county we're talking about here that I'm going to talk about, speaking of metro areas, higher educated areas, is Anoka County, which was won by Donald Trump by, as you can see, 1.9 percentage points, but it swung 7.7 percentage points towards the Democratic Party. And we look at Anoka County, and we see the educational attainment, 30.5 percentage points, which is pretty high, and most of the people moving into the area have college degrees as well, which is accelerating that trend. It's gaining a lot in population, and it's generally quite a rich area as well, $79,000 as the median household income. So I do think that that's also a county that could flip to the Democrats. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the rest of this because, there's a lot of counties. I think that possibly a county we could maybe have some of these South Florida areas maybe flip. I think think that two counties that may flip are Denton and Collin County. I think that if we look at the 2020 results, these counties, of course, swung very, very far towards the Democrats. You can see Collin County was 12 points, Denton County was also 12 points, and while they were still R+8 and R+4 respectively, they did have big swings, which I think could continue going into 2024. So let's try and get the education demographics on Texas. So as we can see here, Texas overall is at 30% in terms of educational attainment with a bachelor's degree or higher. And if we look at the Dallas metro area, it's much higher than the areas around it. Collin County, 52.3% of people have a college degree. Denton County, 45% of people have a college degree. We look at the population growth. This entire Dallas metro area is growing very, very rapidly in population. And it's a richer area too. It's an area that does have high incomes, and that's why a lot of people are moving to these areas, generating a lot of that population growth. And we can see here that Collin County has an average income of $94,000. Denton County has an average, or I keep saying average, really it's median household income, but the median household income for Denton is $83,000. Both of these counties are quite white, 64%, which is about, I believe, near the average of Texas as a whole, but they are being more diverse as a result of this population growth. And so I do think that those are two counties that could flip in 2024. Another county that I do believe could flip is Oklahoma County, which is in Oklahoma. This would be the first time that a Democrat would win a county in Oklahoma since 2000, I believe. Democrats used to do very well in this area called Little Dixie, which is in southeastern Oklahoma. Now, of course, these areas are all very safe Republican, but as you can see in the 2020 election, Oklahoma County swung very, very far towards the Democratic Party. 9.4 percentage points. Donald Trump won it by 1.1 percentage points. If we look at the education demographics, Oklahoma as a whole is only 25.5 percentage points, which is one of the lowest numbers in the nation. I believe the lowest is Mississippi, which, if we look at the numbers here, is at 22%. But if we look at Oklahoma, we zoom into Oklahoma County. If it does let us zoom in over here, we can see here 32%, which is generally not too high, but if we look at the population growth, gaining a lot in population, if we look at the income, it is lower, but it is only 59% white. Average income $52,855 in median household income. So I do think that is a county that could flip towards the Democratic Party. Let's just fix that county, and we can see there that's another county that could flip. And another county that could flip, actually, I believe, is in Arkansas. I believe that a number of these black belt counties could flip. I think the Republicans could continue to make gains among these black voters along the black belt, especially areas that have lower educational attainment, areas that are poorer, and I do think that those are two counties that could flip in Arkansas, both to the Republican Party. Now, Arizona, you could see another county flip. Maybe Maricopa County flips back towards the Republican Party. Maybe in the state of California, Inyo County flips back towards the Republican Party. Maybe if you look towards, the NorCal area where there's a lot of richer areas, El Dorado County, Sutter County, Colusa County. These areas are quite Republican, so I doubt that they would flip, but these are certainly areas that could trend towards the Democrats. Oregon, you possibly will have a county flip. Maybe Wasco County flips towards the Democrats. Maybe Tillamook County, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but maybe some of those counties flip towards the Democratic Party as well. Maybe some areas in Washington. Maybe Republicans continue to improve in some of the areas where Democrats have done well. In Colorado, for example, with a lot of these rural counties, a lot of them with heavy Latino populations that Republicans improved in the 2020 election. As you can see here, some of these counties along the bottom, the southern portion of the state. Another county that could possibly flip, maybe if Democrats did really well with suburban voters, they could flip Sedgwick County, but that's probably not going to happen. Maybe Democrats could make some improvements, maybe flip Clay County, for example. But overall, I'm actually not anticipating there to be many county flips in 2024. And of course, many of these may be unexpected. Maybe Republicans make huge gains in the Rio Grande Valley again, and maybe they flip, a lot of these counties in the Rio Grande Valley. If they flip all of these counties, that would certainly be a sight to see, because we actually had Zapata County that flips towards Donald Trump in 2020. Maybe Miami-Dade County flips towards the Republican Party in 2020. So there's a lot of things that may happen, and of course I wasn't able to look at every state. I wasn't actually able to look at that many states because it does take a lot of time to go county by county, looking at the certain demographics of those counties, determining whether it'll flip. If you want me to talk more in depth about this, I can make another video about it, but I did think that this was a fun topic. I think that this will be a very interesting election, and we could have some very big surprises too, just like we had in this election in terms of county flips, but we will just have to wait and see. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.